to answer that?
Essentially, with that one overdue inspection that was in place at the time of our the review, they've gotten back into compliance, getting back to doing inspections in a timely fashion within the time frame they need to be performed.
So nothing needs improvement.
And I guess that's why I'm a little bit confused, why the recommendation is needs improvement, if nothing needs to be improved.
Needs improvement, it's because that's what the management directive states it would be, given 17% overdue inspections.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks.
Okay, so with that round of comments, Brad, your view with respect to the team's recommendation?
I would disagree with the recommendation and would rate this as satisfactory.
Because the state
given
corrective action
and actually I thought when I read the plan they had to go out of the backlog, it all sounded very sensible and proactive in sort of addressing the issue. And if they had just caught up at the end of the period, it might be different. But with several years of being caught up, I don't think describes a program that needs it.
And they appropriately prioritize the overdue inspections and work those off in a logical sequence.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott?
I would change the rating to satisfactory. I commend the team for following the guidelines and making the tough call. But I think the Commonwealth has taken the actions that needed improvement, and they've done what needed to be done. And all that they need to do now is just continue to monitor their staffing. So I would change it to satisfactory.
Okay, thanks. Darrell?
I would agree with Brad and Scott there, and echo Scott's comment regarding the team's call that was made. I think they did right in accordance with the criteria, but I would echo that I agree it needs to be changed to satisfactory.
Thank you, Darrell. Gonzalo?
I agree with what was just said. I think it should be changed to satisfactory.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a decision. I would ask that the write-up be revised to reflect the basis for why, the MRB concluded that it should be satisfactory, because all those reasons that we've stated.
I mean, I sensed in reading it that they've been caught up for a while, but it actually doesn't say they've been caught up for a while.
No, I think they caught up by the end of the period, right?
No, they were saying they caught up.
Well, they like you said, they had the bulk of them done through 2012, but they continued to catch up. But the very last one was recent, but that's one out of all that percentage.
Okay. Let's go on to technical quality of inspection.
Okay. Technical quality inspections, I reviewed that area. And the review team is recommending to the MRB that the indicator of technical quality inspections become satisfactory. Making that determination, the review team reviewed 26 of their inspection files, and we accompanied all 5 of their inspectors to evaluate their work. We found that each of the inspectors to be well-trained and prepared for the inspections and very thorough in their reviews. Documentation reviewed by the team was thorough and complete. The team found that sensitive documents were properly labeled, handled, and stored. The program is committed to performing supervisory accompaniments annually. However, in 2011, again, during the same period of time, due to staffing issues, as we described a little in the last 2 indicators, management made the call that accompaniments of the 2 more experienced home-based inspectors could be deferred for 1 year so that they could focus more time and resources on training the newly hired Richmond-based inspectors. They resumed supervisory accompaniments of everyone in 2012. There were no issues that were found, and they've been performed ever since. So therefore, based on the MPEP evaluation criteria, the review team is recommending that this indicator be found satisfactory.
Okay, thank you. Brad, questions, comments?
Good report, no questions.
Okay. Scott?
Have any questions?
Okay. Darrell?
No questions.
And Gonzalo?
No questions. I agree.
Well, so Gonzalo agrees. Brad, your view?
I agree.
Scott?
I agree.
Darrell?
I agree.
Okay. That was fast. We proceed with technical quality of licensing actions.
Technical quality of licensing actions was reviewed by Charlene Graham from the state of Ohio.
Take it away, Charlene.
Hi. The review team is recommending to the MRB that the indicator technical quality and licensing actions be found satisfactory. In making that determination, the review team reviewed 20 of the Bureau's licensing actions, including new licenses, renewals, amendments, and terminations, which were all found to be thorough, complete, and consistent with high quality. They are using a current guidance for all licensing action. The pre-licensing guidance is also applied to new licenses, which are hand-delivered during the site visits. The team also found no performance issues related to financial assurance or decommissioning. So therefore, based on the impact evaluation, the review team is recommending that the indicator of technical quality and licensing actions be found satisfactory.
Thank you, Charlene. Brad, questions?
No questions.
Scott?
On the pre-licensing checks of new applicants, it seems that what Virginia was doing was very thorough. How does what Virginia is doing compare to, and I guess anybody on the team or Virginia, compare to the NRC's practice for pre-licensing visits?
Charlene, do you want to answer that?
No, go ahead.
I'm not answering it.
They do the same thing that we do in Ohio, which is to hand deliver the licensing to ensure that the, licensees are appropriate and have the appropriate things for that license. So I don't see any difference between what Ohio does for pre-licensing and Virginia does.
Randy?
And while I'm not a licensed reviewer and not involved in licensing, it's my understanding that NRC does things basically the same way. Is that correct, Donna? You have any idea?
I'm not a current licensed reviewer, but I know we do some of this, but we have some licensed reviewers in the room who are just and members of the public. I don't know.
Hand delivers.
Well, we don't.
You do pre-licensing visits.
No, we do the pre-licensing visits.
So they may go beyond what NRC does.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing. Okay, well,
Well, it seemed like they had certain good practices, like in checking the business registration and those kind of things. I found that impressive. I don't know.
Okay, thanks. Darryl? Questions, comments?
No questions.
Okay.
No questions or comments. Thank you.
And Gonzalo?
No questions. Thank you.
Brad, your review with respect to the team's recommendation on the quality of licensing?
I agree.
Scott?
I agree.
Darryl?
I agree.
And Gonzalo?
I agree.
Okay. Let's move on to technical quality of incident and allegation activities.
And that was reviewed by Jeff Warren.
Take it away, Jeff.
For the technical quality of incident and allegation activities, the review team is recommending to the MRB that the indicator be found satisfactory. In making that determination, the review team reviewed 14 of 39 materials incidents identified during the review period in the state. The program's response to each incident was thorough, complete, and comprehensive. Each event was reported to the NRC if required. All non-reportable incidents at InMed were correctly categorized as non-reportable by the program. The review team also reviewed the casework for 5 allegations received by the program during the review period, including one referred by the NRC. One additional allegation referred by the NRC was still in process, awaiting the results of a review by a different state. The team found the program to be responsive, taking prompt and appropriate action. Documentation was thorough and complete. The allegations were closed appropriately. The identities of concerned individuals were properly protected. Therefore, based on the impact evaluation criteria, the review team is recommending that the indicator technical quality of incident and allegation activities be found satisfactory.
Thank you, Jeff. Brad, questions, comments?
I just one question, I guess for the team. I was curious: is the number of NMED reports that they had high for the size of the program, or?
I don't. It varies. It really varies. It varies by the state. It varies by the type of licensees that they have. It varies by a lot of different things. I don't think it was high, but and it depends on the year. Just there's a lot of variables in there.
Okay. I know we've had some other states where we questioned whether they were reporting them adequately, and the numbers were, as I recall, much smaller, but they were smaller programs. So I was just trying to get a sense.
Yeah,
But the team's review concluded that they were appropriately reporting.
Yes, in all cases.
Yes. Correct. That's all I have.
Okay. Got it.
On the allegation where Virginia was waiting for another state's determination before moving forward, was the time that Virginia had waited reasonable, or had it been going on a long time?
It was not excessive. Basically, the event had occurred in a different state, and so the other state really had jurisdiction.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, thanks. Darrell, comments, questions?
Yeah, no questions from this end.
Okay, thanks. And Gonzalo?
I also have no questions.
Okay, Brad, your view with respect to supporting the team's recommendation?
I agree.
Scott?
I agree.
Darrell?
I agree.
And Gonzalo?
I agree.
Brad? Let's go on to non-common performance indicators.
All right. There was only one of the non-commons that we reviewed, and that was compatibility requirements, and Donna did that.
So the review team will recommend to the MRB that the indicator compatibility requirements be found satisfactory. Virginia became an agreement state in March of 2009, so a pretty recent agreement state. And when they set up their regulations, a lot of their regulations are adopted by reference using a pointer type system. So that has obviously helped them maintain compatibility in that area. There are some regulations, new ones, such as Part 37, that are going to require them to put a pointer in there. So they will have to go through their process. And some of their regulations, they don't adopt by reference, and they go through their standard process of adopting regulations. All the regulations were up to date at the time of the review. None were overdue. And they recently, right in October, right before the MPEP, had submitted proposed regulations for 8 amendments for upcoming ones for review to NRC. So they're working on, I'm not sure if we got that back to them yet on those. Nope. Okay. So their process takes about 2 years to complete to adopt the regulation, but they do have another pathway they can use for a lot of their regs that then only take 3 to 6 months. So that's really good. And based on the MPEP evaluation criteria, the review team recommends that this indicator be found satisfactory.
Thanks, Donna. Mm-hmm. Brad, questions, comments?
I just commend you for one of the fitness compatibility. You've got a lot of nice tools here that I don't think you have, and let you stay caught up. But I can't remember the last time there wasn't something on the list for compatibility. So that's good.
Okay, Scott.
I'd second Brad's comment.
Darrell.
Yeah, I echo those comments. I just have a question about reference to the Part 37 requirements that's upcoming in the report. Aren't those now in place?
They're in place for NRC. They're not due for agreement state adoption till March of 2016. So they had a longer time to implement than we did.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess I was just, the context read it as a new regulation for the NRC.
Okay.
That is upcoming.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Good,
Yep.
Good clarification.
Okay. We can get rid of that word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just upcoming.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Darrell?
And that was it.
Okay, thanks. Gonzalo?
Just one question for the state of Virginia. I'm just wondering or curious, do you have an actual regulatory person that acts as, in their staff, or do you use health physicists to coordinate the reg changes?
We actually use staff. I have a couple staff members that help me out write our regulations, and then we have to submit them to the regulatory process. So we don't have a person set for that.
You don't have somebody dedicated?
Not dedicated 100%. It's done by current staff members.
So you'll use the health physicist as the subject matter experts in getting the regulations written up to put into your process?
No, we take staff, my staff members and I write them, review them to make sure they're adequate, compatible before we send them in the NRC for review.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, Brad, your view with respect to the recommendation?
I agree.
Scott?
I agree.
Darrell?
I agree.
And Gonzalo?
I agree.
Which takes us to the summary, sir. And perhaps in your presentation you could address, since we've increased the finding, does that make them eligible for a 5-year?
Yep, well, we're already planning that.
Okay.
So, in summary, after our discussions here today, the recommendation is going to be made that the Virginia program be found satisfactory for all 6 indicators reviewed. And we made no recommendations for the program. Overall, the team is recommending that the Virginia program be found adequate to protect public health and safety and compatible with NRC's program. And then based on the results of the current MPEP review and the last one, the MPEP team is now recommending that the next full MPEP review take place in approximately 5 years.
All right. Brad, questions, comments?
I agree.
Oh, you agree. Okay. That's a comment. Scott?
No questions, no comments.
You agree?
I agree.
Okay. Darrell, questions?
No questions or comments, and I also agree.
All right. And Gonzalo?
No questions, comments, and I also agree.
Wow. Well, that's a very clean management review board and MPEP team review. For the team, are there additional comments from the MPEP team? Any insights or process changes based on this MPEP assessment?
I can't think of any.
I don't have any.
Jeff?
Nothing here.
Charlene?
I have none.
Okay. Mike, Steve, any additional perspectives from the Commonwealth of Virginia that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, Mike, I'd like to share just a few comments. We appreciated the efforts of the MPEP team that was assigned to evaluate Virginia, and really would like to acknowledge the professionalism and courtesy afforded us during the visit by Randy, Jeff, Donna, Charlene, and Laura Deeds, who came for the exit. The team was fully knowledgeable about the MPEP process, and it is a process that we find beneficial to our program. The entrance, company visits, comprehensive investigations, and daily outbriefs, and the exit were just a few of the notable positives. They imparted really valuable perspectives and lessons learned that our staff can incorporate into our regulatory and business functions. And I also would like to thank you for the kind invitation to include all the members of our radioactive materials program in today's MRB meeting. It is an experience worthy of their attendance, and I believe it supports our mutual goal of a robust federal and state partnership. We thank you for the prompt noticing of our corrective actions that were instituted with regard to the backlog situation that has been fully resolved with the culmination of the recent inspection. So thanks to my team, the radioactive materials program, and in particular Mike Welling, for all their commitment and dedication to ensuring the effectiveness. I think it was a great review, and I appreciate you entertaining my comments. So I'll turn it back over to you and Mike Welling and the rest of the members of my team, should they want to say anything.
Mike, team, you want to say anything from?
Echo Steve's comments. I appreciate the team that was sent to us and the full MPEP process, and fully vested and believe in it.
Okay.
And my staff want to say anything, comments?
No, I'm very shy.
Thanks, Beth.
All right. Well, we're pleased to see the strong performance of Virginia during this MPEP period. Your corrective actions to improve on the timeliness of the inspections is especially noteworthy, and I think you saw how the Management Review Board responded. Drew Scott, it was helpful for the team to call out specifically the performance and compare it against the criteria, but as you can see by the decision of the board today, the collective view was you've already instituted those corrective actions, so what else needs improvement?
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that, Mike, and Brad, Scott, Darrell, and Gonzalez concurrence in that regard. Thank you.
So we look forward to your next MPEP review in the 2019-2020 timeframe. Well done. Congratulations and thanks to the Commonwealth. I know we had at least one member of the public, Erica Gray, on from Sierra Clubs in Richmond. Did you have any comments or questions for the NRC?
Well, yes. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, actually I do. Well, first of all, I think that being that in the beginning of this meeting that at least one indicator wasn't met for we're talking about for 2015, we're talking about a 5-year span here from the last 2010 review what would you call it, the review process. And so we're talking 5 years, and obviously the first indicator or the only indicators that are being presented here that weren't really passed was a problem with the inspections. And then some gentlemen, inquired over when they were behind on inspections. And it sounds like 2012. Well, with our 5.8 earthquake we had in 2011, it's pretty timely, and I can understand they could get behind. But not having the personnel that's already ready to go in the issues of safety, I have a problem with that. And on top of that, it seems that we should always have qualified individuals ready to go, not someone that needs to be trained for a while. And we shouldn't be behind. Everybody's saying satisfactory, but being behind on inspections and being behind for 5 years. One inspection that was still overdue just came in. To me that sounds like that's the problem. So, and with the different information that I read on the number of incidents, I guess, is this review board really looking just at what's being reported? Because if we have, so many incidents and they're, up to 90% of them are being reported or being reported in a timely fashion, that's still 10% that's outstanding. So, to say everything's satisfactory, okay, next in 5 years, 5 years is a long time. And a lot of things have happened at North Anna. Broken fuel rods, leaks, etc. And, I just don't see how we would put off 5 years when what Dominion has shown in the past 5 years is incidents of not reporting on time, and the different problems that we've had there. And I would like to bring up that being under our agreement state that the Department of Health is designated as a Commonwealth Radiation Control Agency. Well, I'm glad to see that in 2013, the reports on vegetation and stuff were complete. But I can mind you right now that over the previous, 5 past years, there's been missing data on vegetation samples and et cetera. So, as an individual and as a person representing the Virginia Sierra Club, I am not convinced that we should go 5 years without having other reviews to make sure that Dominion can stay on top of their program, to make sure we have qualified individuals there all the time, not like this lag in logging or lag in reviews, and at the same time to make sure our health department gets this information in on vegetation sampling. There's definitely improvement that needs to be done, and that's about all I have to say.
Thank you. I may have been unclear up front, and I didn't elaborate on the scope of this review, but of course, the Commonwealth does not license or regulate the North Anna Nuclear Power Station. That's under NRC's regulatory program, and we have resident inspectors there that are they reside there. So every day the licensee's activities are under scrutiny by the NRC. The scope of the review that we conducted today pertains to the use of radioactive materials that are under the agreement program operated by the Commonwealth. And so these are gauge users, hospitals, universities, the use of sources for beneficial applications, and the Commonwealth regulates the use of those materials within the Commonwealth. And so North Anna, Surrey are not within the scope of that program. That might have been unclear.
Okay, yes, it was unclear then, because I was under the impression that, all things nuclear, we're an agreement state, but that doesn't fall under the power stations.
No. Those are reserved to the NRC under the federal law.
So I guess the recent report with those gauges that were being used is going to go under next year's report, since that happened after this review.
I don't know what report you may be referring to.
No.
An event report for gauges in Virginia? Mike, can you?
It's a report, yeah, we did have one event of the gauge getting run over.
Right.
No, it's not that. They didn't have, it was recent too, so that's maybe why it's not being reported. But then again, it means it's, probably hasn't been 30 days maybe. But the company basically said that they will use gauges that are non-nuclear now. But they evidently didn't have the, the license or whatnot to be able to utilize them. But yeah, it was here in Virginia.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm obviously under the impression that it was also the nuclear power station, so obviously we're talking about medical and the other things. But yeah, there should be an incident coming for you guys for this year anyway.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for it, as I'm sure the state will be based on their high quality.
Erica, could you call me next week and we'll discuss this offline?
I'm sorry, and you are?
Mike Welling.
Okay, and your number?
804. 864.
864.
8168.
8168. 8168?
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry, can I just ask one other question? The Department of Health is designated for the Commonwealth Radiation Control Agency. But they also are the ones that are reporting for the radiation monitoring around the nuclear power plant. So it sounds like there's a kind of a lap over of that agency. Am I wrong?
Erica, this is Steve Harrison.
Yes.
We have an agreement with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management and Dominion to conduct independent environmental monitoring around the two nuclear stations that allows us to perform environmental sampling of multiple media and analyze those results and compare those results to anything Dominion might be putting out to verify that we don't see any inappropriate or abnormal increases of radiation in the environment as a result of those station operations. Yes, we do publish quarterly environmental monitoring reports and culminate with an annual at the end of the year. There are a few instances where some samples were not taken.
I'm sorry, it was a few years, sir, actually no vegetation samples taken for years, and missing data quarters, and especially right after our earthquake. No information there, missing. That's why I'm questioning over, as an agreement state.
Steve, Erica,
we would be glad to talk with you. You've got Mike's number. My number is 804.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris, go ahead.
804. 864.
Yes.
FY2151.
Okay.
And we can step through the environmental monitoring program and some of the changes that we have instituted with regard to upgrades in our processes over the last 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the public is interested to know what's being monitored, and even to know, where these monitors are being set up. Mm-hmm. Because if we're, like, for Babcock and Wilcox, monitoring 2 miles down the river, maybe we need to look at how our monitoring system's set up. And we'd like to know that it is properly being monitored, and not by Dominion itself, but by an independent or someone with our own state to watch over it, because we're concerned.
We'll be happy to discuss that with you, ma'am.
I will give you both a call. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just so you're aware, Ms. Gray,